Which one though? The national?
On the Goldie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yes.
All right.
I'd love to hear
7
more
seconds.
jokes, Robert.
We've got a
Here we go.
yeah, we'll have a stall there. Stall? Do you call it stall?
1 second. And we're live. Welcome back to the All Things Aged Care Weekly Wrap-Up. This is a live stream brought to you in collaboration with Australian Aging Agenda, who have generously offered 2 tickets to the 2026 Positive Aging Summit. And that's an event that drives the importance of reablement in aged care. So huge thanks to Mark Ryu and Natasha Egan and the Australian Aging Agenda team for offering double passes worth $2,000. And we've yet to figure out a way to pick a winner, but it's on the agenda. Yeah, we'll wait for that. We've got more dad jokes coming. Robert's full of them. But as always, we're trialing something different this week. We've got a couple of guests. First guest is Libby Hema, the Clinical Operations and Education Lead at Brenner. Over 2 decades of experience in aged care. She's passionate about better outcomes for residents, families, and staff. She's had a cameo appearance on the show last week when she sent through a very touching video for Aged Care Employee Day. And she's back here again to bring the vibes and give us a few questions and issues to tackle. My name is Anthony Nguyen, host of the Pioneers in Aged Care podcast, and as an aged care cheerleader and content creator, I showcase the innovators, the change makers, and the people who are inspiring the next wave of workers into an industry that is unfairly perceived as slow, boring, and stale. We know it's anything but that.
Never.
Yeah. Speaking of innovators, we have Robert Covino, founder and CEO of Mirus Australia. He's one of Australia's foremost voices in aged care innovation and data-driven transformation. He's also the driving force behind Mirus Plus, which is a platform that helps aged care providers turn policies into practical solutions. And rounding out our hosting crew is Owen Matheson, strategic connector and founder of Mission Critical Group. He's the guy who knows everyone, works with owners, boards, and executives, and has a knack for connecting the right people, opportunities, businesses, and capital to unlock growth, drive innovation, and make a real impact. A natural MC and all-round bringer of good vibes, Owen will be guiding most of our conversations, keeping things insightful and full of energy. Owen, over to you, buddy.
I mean, how humbled can we get by our intros? We are feeling the love here, Anthony. Thank you. I'm so excited to have Libby here, forever immortalized, raising the roof with.
I can't put my hands up higher than this because I'm doing this in the car.
My arm.
So, Libby, so good to have you here in real life, off the video. And tell us all about your journey, 24 years in aged care and the things that you've learned along the way.
There's no need to chuck out the numbers there, Owen.
How is that possible? That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, actually, it's been a bit of a journey. I started when I was in New Zealand, of course, and it actually came from my mother. So I spoke about her in my video. She's very much a pivoting point in my career. Taught me everything. I saw what she did. She used to give 110% to her clients, her residents, and then would come home and do exactly the same thing for us at home.
Let's give a shout out to your mum by name. What's your mum's name?
Her name is Arlene.
Let's raise the roof for Arlene.
Arlene.
The original inspiration. And if you had to say one thing that Arlene's really inspired you with in that transition in your family to continue, carrying the torch for aged care, what would you say?
Don't ever be afraid to stand up for somebody else.
Love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's also like me, quite outspoken. Some people like it, some people don't. But very much I'm a big advocate for making sure that you're you're getting the right care that you deserve. You're a person still. Just because you're elderly or you're in a home doesn't mean that you don't have a life, and you also can still enjoy what you used to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love that. No shrinking back, no playing small.
Yep.
No.
And you don't want to, if you walk past it, you tell the world it's okay. That's
Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it.
And that's very much it, isn't it? Somebody also touched on that it was the standard that you walk past is what you accept.
such a good lesson. I mean, it's we're too anonymous these days, behind phones, behind anything. There's just that veil that we have to realize that we have to bring that, what technology does to kind of separate humans, even though it's connecting us with more. There's still, that it's just different, the world and how even look at work today for many of us are through Teams and Zoom calls, and we never experienced that. I would never in 1,000 years thought that would be only a couple of years away in 2019 or 2018 when it sort of started.
No, exactly. But yes, I think it's nice to get a different perspective of other guests coming on from different areas of aged care as well. So, absolutely take my hat off to all that are in those senior positions and things. But it's also nice to hear from the ground level people. I'm a ground level person, so thank you.
I think you guys lead not at ground level, but you just lead from the front.
I do.
Yeah, there we go, like that. And we know that in aged care, the heroes don't wear capes; they wear name badges.
Love that. I love that.
Love that. We are, and a lot of love to be shared. For those amazing unsung heroes that are brightening up the days of people that need it most. And we've got a shout out going on here, Ant. You might know a bit more about that one.
That's my wife. I'm in Adelaide. She's back in Perth with the kids.
Go Steph.
Axel and Atlas. Resident Roof for my family. Steph, Axel and Atlas. Thanks, guys.
And tell us what do Axel and Atlas love about the show, Ant?
Or Dad.
I don't think they love the show at all because it takes me away from them. So they love the camera, they love the gear, they love pulling cables.
Right.
But then they don't like getting shooed out of the office, so I can continue doing it. So huge shout out to my wife for giving me the time and space to do this. She'll take them to the park.
Yes, go time. Steph. Go Steph. That's a big raise the roof for Steph. and her handiwork here. We should give her a shout out. And she's done an amazing job on making us look super schmick.
She's created pretty much most of the imagery, the logo, my background. She helped rejig your background. Robert did his own because he's an AI pro, and I honestly, a lot of what I do wouldn't be able to do it without her. So it's I'm very lucky. But Libby, I did want to ask you. You've got a great question. I read one of your questions that you wanted to ask from Rob. It was a data-driven question, wasn't it? Or did I read wrong?
I have many. I'm very inquisitive. So
don't hold back, Libby. Get him good. He loves a good challenge.
I've got really two that I really want to ask. Nothing out of the box or anything. I don't want to scare the poor man, even though he's been in the military. I'm really interested in following the journey about the Bupa Aged Care Study Tour. So I really just wanted to know if there was any plans to expand into other areas, such as like palliative care or workforce capability. Don't get me started on workforce capability, but I'd still like to hear it from Phil.
So that was a question for Phil. I thought for some reason I thought I read a question that you a data analytics question for Rob, but that could be.
No, probably not. It was probably just in the group chat. The group chat, just regarding where's your t-shirt? Show me the data.
We got to get those.
Rob's just dodged one there. Can we come up with one?
Well,
Oh,
yeah, come by
could
the
Rob
national conference as well. We'll have some toys to give out. Are good to share.
That's right. That's right. So there will be a competition that when we are live at, we've got Aging Australia, the big conference where everyone converges on the Goldie. And we would love you to come up and try and stump Rob. So, because
I've never seen that happen. He's got. I threw some questions at him so Rob's episode is coming out on the Pioneers and Aged Care podcast. It's coming out on Monday.
yes,
And I had a few questions from my sponsors, and there were some juicy questions, and I didn't even prep him for them for those questions. So yeah, he knocked them out of the park.
The power of a beer and a conversation.
it just lubricates the conversation.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Well, what's on Libby? What's on your mind for this week? Anything you've seen in the news? Any thoughts at all around aged care? What's a pressing issue that we should be discussing?
Is that for me?
Yeah, it's for you. Did I put you on the spot again?
Apologies, I've got I think a lag going on here.
Oh, that's not cool.
Hope that's
not
on my end.
That's okay. I'm going to be completely honest. I've been out of the loop this week.
Oh, what have you been up to? Drag racing.
I've been recovering. I've just had surgery, so I've been recovering all week.
Right, gotcha. Sometimes we need a bit of time out in order to come back stronger. To turn that.
Can't keep a good horse down though.
Yeah.
My drag racing though, I'm always keen to talk about fast cars.
Right, tell us more, Libby.
Yeah, we just learned this earlier before, Owen.
Well, of course, we all have pressures in our jobs. I like to blow off steam by racing my Raptor. I brought a Raptor purely just because I liked it and it went fast and it was bright orange.
Love it.
Something subtle.
Exactly. Very subtle. And I thought I have a beautiful partner who is very supportive of all of my ridiculous ideas that I have, especially in the middle of the night. And I'll wake him up and I'll be like, do you know what would be a great idea? And he's like, just go to sleep. So I said, I really want to race the Raptor. I said, because I really want to put in a new Herod pack, which will be an upgrade to the performance to make it go faster. So he let me drag race it at a Queensland raceway not too long ago.
Look out. So, Libby, you're going to be stopping traffic within that bright orange Raptor. Tell us about your drag racing experience. Did you show any mercy or was it just all in?
Oh, I was a bunch of nerves. I had all of the directions. Absolutely. I had a great team behind me. And I got up to the line and I just got too excited, too overbearing, I think, just too in the moment. And I forgot to change gears. So my car defaulted to automatic paddle shifting.
Right. So, hate it when that happens.
There's
so
a lot
you had
happening at that moment in time.
all that potential. Do you have launch mode in a Raptor?
Yeah, it's just called in. Put your foot flat. But certainly had a good time. Won some races, which was fantastic. After I learned how to change gears.
So
I've got the same
Sorry,
disease. Just growing up with in the Midwest of America, now known as the Rust Belt, but in the shadows of Detroit, it was all about V8s and American muscles, and it was just straight line, nothing else, because those cars don't do too much. But I'm right there with you, Libby. Go on.
Big muscles don't tend to go anywhere else but in a straight line.
Love a meaty V8. Nothing like
I learned that the hard way, though.
The roar of a bi-turbo.
Hey guys, just so we can bring it back to aged care.
Back to aged care.
Libby just mentioned her win. Rob, what's your win for the week within aged care?
Oh, we are. I'm going to say it more as a theme, but we are launching some of the first modules of Mirrors Plus, and that's been when you plan for something for so long, and the outcomes it's going to lead the industry to. It's really exciting. So I'll take that win, and yeah, we'll keep going. So this is one
How
of
is that
many.
going to benefit? How is that going to benefit the industry just for those less educated people like myself?
Yeah, one of the biggest problems we have at the moment is all of this regulatory change is not something that's built into the common systems and applications that we're using. So it's leading to a lot of manual work, manual reporting, manual reconciliation, add backs, and that's everything from the care minutes and adding back agency time, but also with some of the new items like care activity statements and these things. I believe the department thought they would be automatic to just come out of the system, but part of the challenge is you may have 5 different applications from the medication system, the care system, an events-based system, PROTA system, and all of that's required to produce a care activity statement, and all of that data has to work together. Otherwise, our clinicians and our teams are working harder and in more inefficient ways, and that also impacts recruitment. Imagine being a young RN who just finished university, has been using AI and all this fancy items, and then they go into a new workplace and it's nothing's really there to support that. So it also impacts how we recruit and compete with some of the other adjacent sectors like acute, but yeah, mainly efficiency. Yeah, that's probably the area where we can continue to drive, but we need our data to do more, and that's what the system is doing for providers, and we'll continue to start to see insights such as observational data sets that you can overlay with what's happening with medication at the same time, and then you can start to have the AI see patterns and go, hold on, this person is starting to show signs of a UTI well before the UTI is really even picked up by an RN in the HI world, human intelligence world. So it's always going to be a combination, but it's a, let's just say it's a transformation that the sector's going through, but at the same time the world's transforming with some of this new technology. That's the win.
That's a great win for you. Libby, I'm just keeping a track of the time. I know you need to duck off, but thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your story, and we're definitely going to have you bring your vibes on in the near future. We've got
yes,
Phil Mackney,
absolutely.
We've got Phil Mackney, CEO of Bupa, waiting in the VIP green room backstage. But before you go, Libby, do you have any questions for Phil that he can tackle?
Can I ask 2?
Yes.
Great. Can I ask about, are there any plans to expand the Bupa Aged Care Study Tour? I'm watching that with interest. But also, how does he stay grounded in the reality of daily life and aged care, especially since his role is so strategic these days?
Good questions.
Great questions.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Libby. Love anytime you're involved in anything. Love being around it.
Thank you for letting me.
Love your energy, Libby.
Hey, Libby.
Come back soon.
Have a great weekend. And keep racing that Raptor.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll hear Libby before you see her.
Oh,
all right. Adding to the stage, we've got here the beautifully bearded Phil Mackney, COO of Bupa. His philosophy in life is to have a crack. And that's exactly what he did when I asked him to jump on my podcast and jump on the All Things Aged Care. So big cheers to Phil for having a crack with us. Thanks, Phil.
How are you? Just realised I don't have a screensaver on in the back, so I'm hoping my kids don't come rocking through the back.
Just adds to the entertainment value.
Yeah.
So we've got Libby's questions. So did you hear those, or would you like us to repeat them just so we don't lose them before we get
no worries. I think I got the second one. Probably the first one I didn't hear properly. So
I think it was Bupa tours.
Your study tour. Extension. Bring more people want it.
More people want the study tour. Look, I think look, we were always always looking to expansion. I suppose it's a nervous. Hopefully, you guys can hear me.
Yep.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Expansion of anything will always come with, are we going to spend more money or are we going to grow buildings, etc. But no, look, expanding our study tours, expanding what we're doing with our attracting people to come and join the Bupa family, we will always look to sort of grow that. I think it's really important. And look, to be honest, I think we're trying to look at what else we can do at the moment. So we've got a bit of a luxury that we're also a global organisation. So we're looking also what we can do to help, expand over into other parts of the Bupa family as well. I think
Absolutely.
the ability to be mobile, the ability to sort of grow and learn from each other, we've got to do more of internally. But also, I think it's one of the great things about aged care in general is we all lean in and sort of learn from each other and sort of want to help everyone out. So yeah, we'll always grow things like that.
I know that Libby was curious, given the role that you now have, Phil, being more strategic. How do you stay grounded with everything that's going on? That was her question.
Yeah, I heard that one. Look, I think operations roles in general. I was just talking to someone about this. Operations roles. Think to be effective, you have to remain connected. You really do. I think any leadership role, actually, you've got to remain connected and visible and accessible, because it's if you're sitting in an office with no windows and no doors and thinking about strategy all day and not engaging with the ground floor, you lose connection and you'll spin off going this way, and actually what the customer wants and what your team needs is sitting over here. So I suppose I really try and stay connected and try and talk to people. I think I said in our podcast, Anthony, if I'm ever the smartest person, I've got the wrong people in the room. Like, I'm absolutely never that person. And
love that, Phil. Yeah.
And it's really important that for me, like when I go out and visit the homes, I'll talk to everyone, and I'll talk to the residents, I'll talk to the carers, and I'll go and spend one-on-one time. I do things like the skip meetings where you skip down a few levels and just sit and talk to someone and ask them and test, and also sort of test them, not test them, but it's more testing me, asking them if a decision I've made, and ask them how'd that go? Did that work? What do you think about? And the more you do it, the more honest and brutal they are, and they'll say, no, that was ridiculous. It takes us heaps of time. It means that we don't have any time in the residence. Oh, okay. Right.
Love that. It's the old tell me what I need to hear as opposed to what I'd like to hear.
Yeah.
The ugly truth.
Yeah.
It's not easy for someone to share criticism with someone in a higher position of authority. You really have to build trust, because someone from an Asian background, you can't say this type of stuff. Like we're taught innately not to say this type of stuff to our elders, right? So the only way I would do it now is if I trust the person who's asking. It's not a test. As long as I can say it freely and it's taken in the best way possible, and I trust the person not to use it against me, that's where staying grounded and connected is. That's why it's so important.
I completely agree, and I'd be dreaming if I think I can just rock up and go, tell me what you think to someone. Like, that's part of it. Is a big part of it. I've got to build trust, right? My entire leadership team has to build trust, and that takes time. The being vulnerable as well. Like, if you can't openly talk with your team and say that you've stuffed up, you've got it wrong, it's hard, I don't know what to do here, what do you think I should be doing? Like, you've got to be really vulnerable about yourself. So that's part of the building trust, but also part of it is not just saying, tell me what you think, because I but you've got to be a bit smarter around, talk to me about, we're now doing this. How does that help you in your day? Oh, it doesn't. Really? Okay, tell me why. And that's that way that you've got to be smarter about the questions you're asking to try and find out whether or not what you did is actually helpful.
You're quite comfortable being vulnerable, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think also the other one, which I've learned from a few people, probably from me stuffing it up, was actually saying thank you, like thank you for, like, I really appreciate your feedback. Like, really, because it's hard. It's really hard to give feedback, and so when someone's sort of got the courage to tell you that they don't agree with you, like, you've got to actually, like, that's huge. That's brave. It's courageous. It's like, and you go, that's like, thank you. Thanks for that. That's awesome. So, yeah.
Is that what you meant by your values, Team Blue? I think you were saying that everyone bleeds blue and that bravery is one of your key values organisationally, because they are taking a risk. They're speaking to someone that they report to, and if it goes pear-shaped, are there implications, or are you kind of saying this is a safe place, it's off the record, what's said here stays here? How do you navigate that?
Oh, look, I think, there's always going to be a balance of, what you've told me stays with you and me. You've got to pick your moment. But I think feedback, like I said, you've got to build the trust. Like, it is, because if I take off the Booper shirt and go and, I don't know, work for wherever, Kentucky Fried Chicken down the road, whatever, like, I can't just walk in there and expect someone to, Phil, I don't agree with. It's I've got to build that trust. But to do it quickly, as I said, is really about, for me, engage quickly, be open, be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to get up and share your roots and all of it.
Rob found something on your LinkedIn. Now I can.
He did. Go, Rob.
Well, I was. I'll put a bit of backstory and context on it first, though. But looking at your background, certainly, I love the vulnerability you showed with the attempt of a startup packaging advertising concepts in early to mid 2000. And the reason why I find that so intriguing is because I'm going to share with you a quick little image of actually an advertising concept that I had in early 2000, same thing, and it was a little bit at the wrong time for the a good insight, but man, it is certainly something that you need to have a go at. So I really I resonated with that piece together. But this is in Cleveland, Ohio, back in 2004. And let me just
back in the day
here. Back in the day. So I turn that off and make sure this comes through.
And as we say in Australia, Rob, have a crack.
Have a crack. Yes, have a crack. I wasn't sure of it. So it's coming through now. All right, there's where's this young
Bill would say
character in there.
Oh, look out.
So yeah, so we put these in shopping malls in the Midwest of America and sold a 15-minute wheel of advertising, and it was a really interesting display of a 360-degree cylinder, but it was LEDs that spun, like kind of how a barber pole spins with the red and white, but it created a very bright and dynamic image that catches the shoppers, and so it was really the first point of sale model. But yeah, it was did that for a couple of years before got a as my parents would say, a real job. But yeah, before.
So Rob, were you responsible for any accidents with the bright spinning wheel?
I have to say though, being in the shopping malls and through the hours of 11 p.m. till 4 in the morning when you're working on these things and trying to set them up. You do have a lot of fun, bicycles and they're big, they're big spaces, millions and millions of square feet of, and you also learn about the shopping malls have their own culture throughout the day, from mall walkers and in the morning hours through to the teenagers and families, and then back to date nights and everything in between. But yeah, it was real fun. So I wanted to hear about your go, because that was your crack you had at that, because that was intriguing.
Yeah. You know what? That space around sort of the billboard marketing, like that's such a tough space, because tough space, because you're always paying rent for the space you're supposed to be advertising on. So any day you're not getting paid for the space, costs you.
That's right.
The shopping mall costs you dearly.
But the pizza boxes, that was a great idea. I mean, I'm thinking of I think there was a company that it's probably about a decade later that then did something around that.
It's a thing. You were ahead of your time, Phil.
It was actually, so a mate of mine, Matty Shepherd, and I. So we were in the security industry at the time, and we had I think I actually had another mate who I'd spoken about it. We'd had a discussion about it probably a decade before that, and we never did anything. And then Chepo and I went, actually, why don't we do this? And it basically was just using the entire pizza box to advertise, and the pizza companies that would take it on, we'd give them their pizza boxes for free, because we were getting paid. So cost you 3 cents for a pizza box, you make 2 cents for each pizza box. It costs the advertiser 5 cents, and so we'd take that. I can't remember exactly what the financial model was, but it was sort of that. And we went, and so we got some advertisers on, and we sort of piloted it. We had a few pizza shops that were doing it, and then and we realised unless you got the big ones, and we were in Brizzy, which there was a couple of pizza shops around, and then there was Eagle Wings and Domino's and Pizza Hut, and Domino's wasn't going to give up their box with the dots, and Eagle.
How dare you? How dare you into their territory and have a crack? So you gave them a slice of the action then, Phil?
But we couldn't resist.
I love it. Look out, Andrew Kincaid. He's going to make you. I'm going to add you into the brand side of the business too, Phil. That's great. That's awesome.
Can we take you a little bit further back, Phil? I understand that you were involved in the trenches, the real trenches back in the day. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I was a medic. I was a medic in the army.
Wow.
I never served overseas. That was in the early mid-90s.
And what was that like? Have you taken some of those experiences and those learnings into how you do team building today?
Yeah. Yes, I have. I think. Look, it's such a good. I loved it. I had such a good time. I reckon I'm addicted to team stuff because of it. I just love team environments. Love it. I think I've probably learned some of the best and worst stuff. Like I talk to people about hard coding. Like everyone learns leadership skills from you learn it from your parents or something through your childhood. And then your first jobs, you sort of learn, and it almost gets hard coded into you because and so I kind of learned that leadership style initially, and I know. So in a crisis, I'm good in a crisis. If there's stuff on fire, I'm calm. I can go through it step by step, make sure people are safe. Do this, I'm good.
You're in the zone. What commotion? What you're seeing it all in slow motion, like Neo in Matrix kind of thing.
That's what I'm thinking. But in a normal environment, that's an overused skill that quickly degrades, culture and quickly disempowers people. And
Right.
And so I recognize it. I absolutely recognize it, and I know, and I've learned through the fails and successes of when to pack it away and when to pull it out. And I probably pack it away more than anything. But it's a great look. I've learned some amazing skills. I learned just, like I said, just the team environment and having to trust people. Everyone plays their role. Everyone's got to know their role. Everyone's, So
it's very important because it's such and also the the pressures that can be under on the floor in these work environments. And I always felt that is an area where I think the industry can do more of, is that mentoring, that coaching, that that building up as you're a young RN, and then you're capable and more responsibility just continually handed. But there's been always a gap I find with how we support some of those team members who move up quickly to now running effectively a 30, 40, $50 million rack or entity, and with little coaching or background. I mean, they've got a degree as an RN, but in those degrees there's elements of accounting, there's elements of team management, people management. There's so many things, and also with where the industry is moving, the expectations, and really the front of house sort of service styles too. But all of that, being across that, and then expecting to have all of those teams follow, to that vision, that view that we have. It's it's no small feat.
No, I agree. I think it's particularly our registered nurses coming into aged care, like the skills, that you have that they don't have the other registered nurses sitting there in an emergency room or a hospital acute setting. They're it for 30 residents, with carers that they've got to then lead, and that's a new skill set. So I agree. I think certainly onboarding, bringing people onboarding, the education and support programs that we've got in place. But I think buddying and support networks within organisations, within homes, or really trying to maintain that sort of buddy networks across organisations is really helpful. You see regional locations do it really well. Like they'll have
I even find with even some of and Anthony would be interesting here on this point, but I find also a lot of recruiters end up having a mentorship relation with a lot of their clients, because you may place an executive a couple different times, and you're checking in as they're progressing in that role and making sure everything's good, and you build this bond, and you become like a performance coach as well as their recruiter. And I find when you go to the RN and care managers, that's kind of a void. And we do a lot of education, and like some of our education courses, we're just being human for the first half hour, like listening to people's problems, getting the elements out, and it just dawns on me, because I have the benefit of working with the Big Four and the budgets they would have for coaching, and to have like McKinsey come in and do a high performance team sort of thesis, and there's a lot of great elements, but how can we now practically continue to evolve that and deploy it into our human services area, because we have a lot of bright people, and they're just looking for regular feedback and want to grow and want to continue to evolve, and and I think that's it is an area that we've got to continue to focus on for those out there.
I can't tell you how many friends I've made in aged care, like you guys on the screen right here. Like I wouldn't feel uncomfortable giving you guys or anyone I've had any conversation past 30 seconds with a call, because I made a post recently. Now it's one of my top performing LinkedIn posts, where it's one of the reasons, reason 467 of why I love aged care. Everyone you meet becomes a BFF, And I wasn't even
that.
being funny on that. I was literally I have a coffee with someone, and then I could be having a barbecue with them. I'd feel comfortable doing so. Whereas in other industries I recruited, it was very transactional. It was, you've done your job, thanks, see ya. But yeah, that mentoring aspect, I wouldn't say I've got. It doesn't feel like a mentor. It does feel like asking advice from a friend, which I guess if you're doing mentoring right, that's how it should be, right?
Yeah, just be natural. Yeah, I think that's I think people overestimate what it is, and because at the end of the day, really at the core of it is just being comfortable in your role in your skin, and I think people carry a lot of anxiety in their roles, and they don't talk about it, and they're trying to manage it, but also they're concerned about the perception of, if I ask, does it mean I'm too green to be in this role, or so you could see these cycles, and when you're a little bit like removed, or as a professional coach would be removed, the vulnerabilities are gone. You're just really let's just have a chat. What's going on? But yeah, I was thinking of Owen, a friend of ours. She's got a business called Hello Coach, and that was really interesting because what she's been able to do is bring that sort of one-to-one coaching down to a price point that is definitely feasible for the Australian aged care market. Because again, looking at the budgets and having teams when I was in the Big Four and allocating it to high performance coaching side of it for the consultancies, I would say we have more responsibility with what these care managers and some of these facility managers have to oversee, and they just want to do the best thing all the time, and sometimes they just want to hear that they're doing the right thing and have that regular assurance side of it. So how we get it to the market is and how we service that is really also I think where we continue to hopefully see the technology help bring the price point down, because it's definitely needed out there.
Sure. And Rob, do you see, because you guys you're obviously you've got a huge connection across the entire sector and into other parts of home care and retirement and others, and do you see that there's a lot, so and it's needing a lot more new people to come into the sector? What are you seeing as far as is it shifting in particular areas, that skill set to be able to coach and the leadership skill, or is it pretty consistent across the country? We've got the same gap everywhere. I see, and I think it's just more of how our industry, looking back to the era before Peter Staples had put in the first Aged Care Act and really introduced standards, and it was more of a convalescent homes and boarding houses and so forth. But as we evolved, then the channel of how RNs and a lot of the sisters who would come through was really by all right, you're now in charge, Phil. It's a little bit like the Army, like military. If you're out there on the field and one of your commanding officers goes down and is out, and now the next in line has to step up and now take over the operation. And it's quite similar to what aged care looks like, because sometimes we may not have the care managers unavailable, so we need to put someone else forward, or now we just don't have enough, so we're in a skill sort of shortage, and we're trying to then find other ways to to sort of scale that until we have enough immigration and recruitment to fill a lot of those shifts. But I see that journey though is really the cause of a lot of it, and how we sort of just continue to elevate, but it's just part of that practice. But now what I think, as we understand more about organizational psychology, we listen to Brene Brown, we listen to Adam Grant, and all these amazing individuals that have a lot to share on it, and it evolves our thinking, and I think that evolution is now really at the core of what some of this reform is challenging us to think through, and I think if we can find the ways within the budget constraints that our industry does have, because we have to be practical about how we execute that, and a lot of people busy. We also have
direct care time, non-direct care time. This stuff doesn't fall into direct care time now. So how do you also keep that at the top of the activity when you're just trying to hit your direct care minute targets and things like that? So we do have our complexities, but I think it is going to come in the shape of well, two things. It's top down. It becomes a bit of a culture of exactly what you're doing, Phil, and just continuing on that with that openness and understanding that cares can RNs and the teams can come to you and talk and be and expose themselves a little bit in a vulnerable state that some organizations, the culture, they would never put themselves out there. And then from there, it really is about some of the individual journeys that these team members want to go on, and some of them don't want the responsibility. Some of them are very happy, and they want to show up and make a difference every day, wear their capes and name badges, and see the people around them that they enjoy spending time with. And then others, I think, have all of the hallmarks of what a great manager or care manager or leadership. And I think those are the ones that are the ones we have to really think through of how do we nurture them into those roles and support them in a way that is a little bit multidimensional, because line and hierarchies are definitely one way, but Anthony, if he's placed somebody, I'm sure I'd be calling him going, oh man, I'm just having a tough time at work at the moment, and Anthony's going to give his feedback, and that's just one great example of it. So encouraging the networking, encouraging, finding those avenues, because it may not come in the form of actually a formal coach, but it can come in other shapes and sizes, and that's what really just telling them to look out for, because that is coaching. Anthony, you're coaching me. Thanks, man.
You've got quite a spread of locations, Phil. I think I was reading something like 57 different operators that you've got to have visibility on, and that challenge of how you maintain culture and values and continuity. I was also interested to see in your interview with Anthony that you talked about resource sharing, particularly in regional areas where there's not enough to go around. You had some really innovative thinking there around culture meets resource sharing.
So firstly, look, the 57 locations, it's all, I think,
it's a few.
It is a few, and a couple of retirement villages as well. But I think as we've all learned, you don't have to be physically in the home. It's about engagement through various, and it's just up to me to engage everyone. That'd take a long time, and it'd probably be very unsuccessful. But I think, champions within homes. So we use engagement champions within our homes. So where the number of people within each location is ultimately responsible for the hype and keeping people excited about rocking up to work. Yes. And we run a few programs throughout the year that really ramp up that hype to get people one, excited about something to come to work, but also that they're sharing each other's successes and really celebrating that. I think that's really important. And having people local. So whether it's in a cluster of homes, that they're sort of supporting that and sharing the love across those homes that are located relatively closely to. That's really important. I think, sharing resources is a great way as well of cross-pollinating and making sure that the cultures sort of, you'll always have a slip. You'll always have one location where you've got turnover of key people, or something's gone wrong and the culture slips in a home, or it's on, I haven't paid enough attention or haven't listened, and the culture slips. And so, but having that resource share where you've got key people that are willing to go and help and move and buddy, coach, help train, etc. across homes, then you're more likely to sort of retain or maintain that when you do have the dips and the ups and downs and stuff. I've probably learnt more in the last sort of 5 years, 10 years over around culture than I probably ever have, and that's
Wow.
of now. And you're always learning. You're always learning.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if you know the Apollo Care team, but Steve, who's ex-Navy as well, and the psychology program they had with a lot of the values and the culture, where an organization agrees to what value system and what behaviors we want to continue to enforce, and then break them into cohorts where you assess your own performance to that value, whether it be cost conscious and I'm the best 10 out of 10, and then your peer review right there is like 4. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And I thought that was such a unique way to also highlight some of that that Steve has that story with the Navy and how they addressed the cost savings and behaviors of the very expensive ships. And
one of my favorite lines from Steve was he said building nursing homes is like building warships, and he took that phrase to the bank when he was applying for making an application.
Love that.
Hope it's not an AUKUS one. That's more complicated.
Did you say?
Oh, sorry, man. We're heading into the last 10 minutes of the stream.
Right.
I want to go through the wins. So Robert shared his wins earlier. We'll get Phil and Owen. You guys share your wins, but just before on your wins, Robert, I had a question came up when you were sharing that, and I was thinking, and Phil you can share this your thoughts on this too. But is there with AI being such a huge thing now, is there a sentiment of what's the pushback? Are people happily adopting, or are they thinking, hey, what about cybersecurity and privacy, and do we hold off until we're 100% certain that there's no risk of leakage and hacks and people losing their their ID?
No, I think
it's good to start with a simple one.
I mean, this is an industrial revolution we're going through, but it really hasn't even shown itself to the extent that it will yet. So we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with some of these elements of playing around with language models, attaching them to automation through Zapier and other workflows, and then putting intelligence around it. So you're going to manage it like a work process of tasks that you would be handing over to an employee. But I think that the common feedback that everyone, and I say everyone, guys like Mike Cannon Brooks, or Scott Falco was on 7:30 the other night talking about this, but really it's the benefits right now still outweigh the negatives. And I think we are continuing to look at controls around it. So there's no AI near any type of military triggers or missiles or systems, but there's a lot we can do with healthcare. We can even looking at the way we've studied the efficacy of drugs and other outcomes can all be now more simulated. So that's where the data is really exciting to drive that. But I guess the spooky thing is that we're going to see the technology start to behave more and more in ways that we identify with as human behaviors. And that's going to be quite confronting to people, because it's going to start to really, I guess, humanize what is technically just servers and numbers, and at the core of what's going on. But some of the actual behaviors that the technology exhibits when it starts to realize that they're shutting down the model for another version, and it actually shows signs of trying to manipulate the code, change outcomes. I mean, this is the things that I know the sci-fi movies are built off of, but that's probably going to be the next awakening, where people it's getting quite it's quite good. We actually have created superhuman intelligence, smarter than any human that we have encountered, and we're almost there. But then the next level is going to start to present new things in new ways, and I'm not entirely sure how everyone is going to deal with that. I think at the moment we're just dealing with it in the form of frameworks and ethics committees, and and talking more openly about responsible uses of AI, and I'm sure Phil, probably the first time, you now probably have an AI policy, which many groups would have never thought, of writing things like that for their their practices, and it's going to get even into more of a TGA, with the therapeutic goods of approving software algorithms that are not even, if it gives a clinician a suggestion, that is a medical direction. So therefore, the human's still in the loop, but the information's presented. It does require then a TGA process to really look through it, and that's where a lot of this is getting to. So it will be interesting, but I think it's still going to do more good than the concern at this point.
Nice. We've got 5 minutes to go. Owen, what's your win?
I think my win is after the Aged Care Employee Day. I mean, I didn't realize how big it was. It was awesome to just see the just out and out love for the unsung heroes of aged care. You went on LinkedIn, you typed in Aged Care Employee Day, and there must have been hundreds of aged care organisations celebrating their people. It was a beautiful thing to see. I've worked in 20 plus industries over 20 years, and I've never seen this level of camaraderie in an industry, this level of humility around just, genuinely having a sense of a greater purpose. And I really resonated with what Phil was saying. It really stands out. It's a beautiful thing. What our everyday heroes in aged care, and the fact that they're really going out of their way to put others first. And no doubt refreshing for you too, Phil. You've worked in different industries, and I bet you can't imagine going back now.
Go. That I think I am blown away all the time. We've got across, like not just Bupa, but across the sector, there are people that rock up 5 days a week, more, right?
Yeah.
Vulnerable residents, and they've got and deal with all the key stakeholders from those residents that can be great and tough and horrible and all those sort of things all at once. And then so many of them go home, and when you talk to them, they've got a partner, a child, a disabled child, a sick mum or dad. They go home and care for, and you go, oh God, like how much love can someone walk around with? All day, every day. And it's not just one or two. The entire sector. Like, it's incredible how much the people in this sector can just care day in, day out. You just go, like how do they do it?
Just flawed. It's unconditional love, right? They're actually really putting those other people first. And I really liked what Ben Happ said last week. He said, one of my favorite phrases is moving from transactional to relational care. And this is a sector that does relational better than most. No doubt about it. There's some so to encapsulate those learnings, and particularly as you have augmented workforces, because you're bringing in a lot of people from different cultures and trying to harness the good from other cultures, but also create a baseline. So there's a cultural, how do you do that? Because
it's good too, because I mean, I think it's important that with that culture behind our industry, a lot of people will not put their hand up to say, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, because they'll just keep giving and giving and giving. And it is quite incredible, because I've got 2 boys, and some days I'm like, oh my gosh, the currency, the marbles in the jar are completely empty. And then you just, as a parent, and I hear stories that, I've got a child with a severe disability as well. And then like, wow, and you do all of this every day, and then also continue throughout the evening, throughout the night even, and then even maybe for grandparents, parents as well in there too. It's incredible. I mean, that's what we were celebrating. That's what I was celebrating, thinking about through a lot of those call outs to to those teams, and even before with Libby and what her mom was saying.
Amazing people, and no doubt you've got a couple of stories. I think, Phil, you were talking about a letter. Is that right? That inspired you?
Yeah, that was It was a It was an amazing reminder of the why we do this. And it was it was so good. Like just to get a letter from someone who's already died they're saying like how great our people were and thank you, and just go, oh, because you can't oh, hang on, can I just you can't do anything with it other than just sit there. It was really good. It was a good reminder of. And I had nothing to do with it. It was a reminder of how great our people are and how much they do for our residents and their families. And I think the bit is the multi-generational impact we have. Like it has, like you can help cement a multi-generational memory of someone by just caring, and you just go like that. Then that was sort of what the letter did for me. I just went, wow, that's the resident, the son. The son's got kids. Man, we've helped create a multi-generational memory for this lady. It was just awesome.
So good. Well, keep doing what you do, Phil. That's great.
And while we're talking, Phil, round us off.
Everyone.
Round us off with your win for the week, Phil.
I think I just gave it, didn't I?
Yeah. You're always winning.
Look, I don't know. I think every week's a win. I think there's always ones. I think. Look, can I say probably the one? And I got a memo from another group that I'm involved with that went out to their customers, and it was about AI, but being that in aged care and healthcare, that the role of the carer and the registered nurse with all the AI, it's recognised as one of the safest jobs around, those roles, because actually with AI will help make their roles better, easier, smarter, more effective. But ultimately, we are humans, and we want that connection with a human. And so when you're vulnerable and sick or need someone, that's going to be so important. And I think it's really important to, AI is fantastic, with agentic AI coming in, all that sort of stuff. It'll be amazing, and risky, as Rob said, but we're going to want humans dealing with humans. And I think that's, for me, I'm pretty chuffed with that. Thank God.
Love that. Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Well, Phil, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you jumping on, Phil. And to our audience out there, thanks for hanging with us, and looking forward to catching up with you again next week. See you guys. Raising the roof one last time for this week.
Keep doing what you do, Phil. Love it. Love the way you're making aged care better.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Phil.